Welcome, foolish mortals, back to the channel. Welcome back to another board game video. So today we are going over our list of intermediate games to be played by people who have a little more experience playing games, or who have like played some of the starter games and are up for a little bit more of a challenge. So, before we get into that, make sure if you are not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss anything. And make sure to leave us a like and a comment and let us know what your favorite tabletop board games are.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them, and especially if it's ones that we don't actually have on our shelf, we really like to play new board games.
Yes, tell us what you love because we love them.
Yes, we love board games, and we're constantly looking for new board games.
Oh, yeah. So many Kickstarters.
Yes, we have like three Kickstarter games that are coming. One's coming in December, one in February, and one sometime next year.
In April.
Yeah, February and April.
I have one for your birthday.
Yeah, that's what it was. So, we picked out two games this time to kind of explain a little bit, because the intermediate ones have a little bit more going on, so they'll take a little bit more time to explain. Yes. So, the first one we will go over is a game called Takenoko.
Or the panda game.
Which Anna calls the panda game because she can't pronounce Takenoko. So, Takenoko. There's a little panda. That's why she calls it the panda game. So,
it's a game about pandas.
And it also, I love that the first thing that you see in Takenoko is like the instruction booklet has a little comic on it. Mm-hmm. Which is actually like pertaining to the story. It does pertain to what's going on.
It sets up for what the game is really about.
Yes. So
let's...
In this game, So this game is meant for, the age range for this game is 13 years old and over. So it does take a little bit of experience. Like it's not as easy because of what's going on. It's not as easy for younger kids to get. Yeah. They can. Yeah. And it depends on the kid.
Megan played this with us, and she was 11.
She got it. It took her a little bit, but she got it. Yeah, she was 11 or 12 at the time. And it took her a little bit, but she did get it. Yeah. But yeah, so the age range is 13 plus. But again, like if you have a smart kid and you think they'd be able to get it, there's no reason not to let them play it. Yeah. It's for 2 to 4 players. We played it with 5 because we let my mom and dad play together. Yes. And then Yumi and then Shay and John played together, I think. And then you and me played on our own. Yeah. And then it takes around 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. So with this one, each player gets this guy, which essentially has all of the things that you can do. So it'll tell you, like, these guys up here, those are what the faces that are on the die, and that'll tell you like what you would do depending on the die face that you had come up. And then the rest of these are like show you what each move is. There's a little storage area for your water, a little storage area for your little tokens.
And a panda belly.
And a panda belly for what the panda has eaten. So, the idea here, let me get some of these cards out, is that you start with this guy, and you are, one of the options that you have on your die is to take 3 of these guys, which have bamboo patches on them, and you pick one of them and you place it down. And you have to make sure that it's irrigated with one of the little water things as it goes out.
Which you can also collect on your turn.
You have 2 actions on your turn. And then on those, so like this is a pink one. So that pink one grows, wouldn't you know it, pink bamboo. And the yellow one grows yellow bamboo. Who would have thunk it? And then there's also...
Wait. What? The green one grows like obviously blue bamboo.
Yes,
right?
Obviously blue bamboo. It's obviously very blue. I mean, in Japanese, ao is blue and green. So
just depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah, pretty much. So then you each start out with like one of these cards, which is a farmer card, which essentially means that you want to grow like this one. You want to grow a stack of bamboo 4 high, which is the maximum height. You can only grow to 4. And you cannot have any of the helper tokens on it, which is like this guy, which is a fertilizer token, which makes it grow double at a time, and then an oasis token, which makes it automatically irrigated, and then there's also a no panda token.
Which means the panda can't come steal it.
The panda can't come and eat bamboo off of there. So you have the farmer ones like that. Those actually tend to get you the most points. So towards the end of the game, those are a really good one to just start drawing because you might already have them sitting on the board.
Those may already be out.
Yep. And then you have
land.
The kind of land token. I don't remember the actual name of these, but essentially you want to have this pattern of the tiles, and these ones have to be irrigated because they have the little water droplets on them, and then you would get that many points. And then you have the last one, which is a panda card, which means, like this one, you have to have the panda eat 2 pink bamboo. He noms it, and then you get the points.
Yeah.
The game ends when, or the game enters its last turn when somebody has like, it's like completes like 7 tasks. It depends on how many people are playing, but you complete like, when you complete 7 of these cards-ish, something like that, then the game would go into its last turn, and whoever completed that 7th task, that last task, gets the Emperor's favor. Because you're taking care of the Emperor's garden, bamboo garden. And you're trying to keep the little panda from eating all the bamboo.
But the panda's really hungry.
The panda is really hungry, and so he wants to eat the bamboo. And the farmer does not want him to do that. But yeah, so essentially, you would take your turn, you would have the 2 actions. You can either place a tile down for bamboo. You can take water, you can take the irrigation pipe. It uses an action to take a pipe, but not to place it. You can move the farmer, which then makes some bamboo grow. You can move the panda, which then means he automatically eats bamboo. Or you can take some new task cards. And that's really all there is to it. So it's like, like you can see like why we put this on the intermediate list. There is quite a bit going on with this. And you can also see why it's a 13 and over game. Intended for a 13 and over is because it is a little confusing.
Yeah, I think it's mostly just that there's so many things you can do, not that it's actually too complicated. And so it takes a while to figure out, like, I can do this, and I could do this, or I could do this. This is going to be the best thing for me to do.
Yeah, because it's a lot of strategy. It's like, okay, if I move the farmer over here and make this bamboo grow up here, that'll go towards getting this card, and then I can move the panda over here, and he can eat this bamboo here. And like, there's a lot of strategy that goes into this game.
Yes.
But it is a super fun game, and it is super worth playing.
Yes, absolutely.
So, all right. Second game we want to go over a little bit is Anna's favorite game, Smash Up. There you go, Smash Up. And we have the big geeky box because we have a lot of expansions.
Lots of them.
So you can actually see it here and hold that up a little bit. All of these expansions.
Yes, and these are all the books to the expansions.
Yes, we kept all the books for them. So the whole idea of Smash Up is you are taking 2 factions of monsters and you are smashing them up. You are combining 2 factions of monsters.
I wouldn't say monsters. I would say creatures.
Monsters, creatures.
Because some of these aren't monsters because there's people in here.
Oh yeah. We are taking 2 factions of people and you are smashing them together to try and take over bases. And we have a stack of bases like this big now because of all the expansions, because they add some more. And but yeah, you're trying to take over bases, and each base is worth a certain number of points. And you're trying to get, I don't remember how many points it is. I feel like it's like 15. It's always 15.
No, because like this base is worth 23.
No, it's 20. It's 23 to crack it.
Oh, that's right. You're right. You're so right.
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
And that's one of the things you pick up after you've been board gaming enough is like there's different lingo with each game. It's like where I just said that you need 23 to crack it. It's 20. You need 23 power on that base in order to crack the base. In order for that base to score.
That's what it's called in this.
Yes, that's what it calls it in the rule book. Is you're cracking the base. So let's pick out a couple of the factions. Doesn't matter. Just pick out a couple of them.
How about time travelers?
Time travelers?
Oh man.
Why don't you leave this in here and pick out the actual?
I done dropped it. Well, because I was trying to, and then I grabbed the wrong thing.
Oh.
And then robots.
Time travelers and robots.
Robots.
No, those are aliens.
Oh, did I go?
You're going because it's backwards.
Oh man.
Here, all right. Let's put the aliens back.
Oh, okay. Robots.
Yes, those are the robots. Okay, so we have some time travelers and some robots. There's 20 cards in each one, so it's a 40-card deck. So you'll have character cards, like this one has the spy here. He has 2 power. And you have this operative here that is 3 power. But you'll also have, and they'll generally be...
I didn't give you a time travelers. I gave you secret agents.
Oh yeah, this is secret agents. Sorry, secret agents and robots. And then there's the secret agent here, which is definitely James Bond, and he has 5 power. He's the strongest card. And then after that, you have a bunch of like action cards that'll do different things. Some of them will, like this, draw 3 cards, discard 2 of them. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, place them on the top and or bottom of your deck in any order. Like it's looks like a kind of a card cycling deck. We haven't played with these guys because they're all still in order, so nobody's used them yet. The spy, it's a lot of them are a spoof on different things. So like the spy who ditched me instead of the spy who loved me.
But if that's a card cycling deck, zombies.
Yeah. Anna's very good at this game. She's very good at figuring out which factions work really well together. But yeah, and so like there's some of them that will like deck cycle, some of them that will like the ghosts will bring things back from the ghosts will like discard a bunch of cards, and the zombies will bring a bunch of cards back from the graveyard. Like it's just a whole bunch of different things like that. But yeah, and then like sometimes the monsters will have different abilities. Like this one is after this minion is destroyed, destroy each other player's minion on this base because it's a nuke bot. It blows up and nukes everything once it dies.
Which is great, like if you can get it onto a base that's loaded with people, and then somebody's like, "Oh no," and then kills it, and then everybody's dies.
Right. So, what you do is you then take your 2 factions, you shuffle them together, and you have your hand, and you start playing. You would have a certain number of bases out on the table, depending on the number of people who are playing. Like this star portal here, which takes 17 to crack, which means that like the power that's on here, this 5, would go towards that 17. So now you would, if you put this here, you would now need 12 more power to crack this base and to score it.
And other people's factions will...
Other people can play on this base. So there's 3 numbers here. These 3 numbers are the victory points. 1st place, 2nd place, 3rd place.
So you want to definitely pay attention to those numbers.
Yes, because I don't know if I can find one right off the bat here, but there's actually some of these, like this one, where you actually want to be in 2nd place because you'll get more points for 2nd place than you will for 1st or 3rd place. And so, but it's like you still get 2 points for 1st and 3rd place. You know, and so you have to pay attention. Some of them, it's actually like flipped, so it's like 1, 1, and then like 4. So you want to be in 3rd place.
Yes, you want nothing.
So you actually have to pay attention to things like that instead of just being like, oh no, I want to have the most power everywhere. Not necessarily. Maybe you don't want to have the most power there. But then you would crack that base once you hit, you know, like in this case 20. You would crack that base. You would score 1st place, 2nd place, 3rd place. You would give each person their little point tokens, which we have, again, tons of because you get more of them with each expansion. And then you play to 15.
Yeah.
So like the actual basic idea is really easy. Put monsters on the bases to crack the base.
Yeah.
And you
earn points.
Earn points. That's it.
But
there's a lot of strategy that goes into this.
Yes.
And as you can see, like with the different like monster cards and character cards, with the action cards, if you are somebody who plays Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or something like that, this is going to be a lot easier for you to pick up and a lot easier for you to figure out the strategies. She played Magic before. I played Magic before. And so it's easier for... But my problem is that I usually take just a couple of random factions that I think are goofy together, like the Dragons and the Vikings. I had Dragon Riding Vikings. That's what I combine. Whereas she actually tries to strategize for the most part.
Which is
especially when she's playing with me.
Which is why when I saw the time traveler or the secret agents were a deck cycling, the zombies are my favorite faction, and I'm always looking for something that pairs really well.
She likes to bring things back from the dead.
So I was real excited about that.
So yeah, that's Smash Up. That's kind of the basic idea. So yeah, it's definitely an intermediate game. Does it say the age range on here? Let me see.
It may not on the Geeky box.
It totally does.
Does it?
It says ages 14 and up for two players plus, and about 45 minutes of playing time. And playing time kind of depends on how many people are playing. Yeah, 14 and up.
Which we explained in the last one was like we had a bunch of people and it took us way too long.
Yeah, and the age range of 14 and up is actually a good age range for that because we did play this with Megan once and it was really difficult for her.
Yeah, I think there's just because of the strategy and everything, it's a little difficult concept.
Yeah, we had to hold her hand through the whole thing, and like eventually she kind of started to get it, but it's really difficult. So
and especially if you're like, I think if we had set her up with a good pair, she would have been able to handle it better. But because she just chose one,
she just picked ones that she liked,
and then that makes it hard because not every pairing works.
No, I mean I think I did princesses and the mystical horses once, and that was fun. Just because I wanted princesses and mystical horses.
Yeah, there's some that work out, but if it doesn't, then it makes the game really hard for you to play.
And it makes it not as much fun. Yeah. So yeah, it does take a bit of strategy. So yes, 14 and up is a good age range for that. So yeah, those are the two we wanted to go over. So let's go ahead and read through the rest of our list. There's only about 5 more on this list of intermediate games.
Much shorter.
We have Disney's Villainous on here, which is super fun. We don't have the base game. we have 3 of the expansions. Actually, all 3 expansions. They only have 3.
We don't have the Marvel one.
Oh yeah, I guess we don't have the Marvel. The Marvel one's kind of like another base game though. That's why I didn't count that. But yeah, so we don't have the Marvel. We have the 3 expansions because they had the characters that we liked better, like Professor Ratigan, who's my favorite Disney villain. But that one's really fun. I mean, it's interesting because you're not like really fully fighting against each other. You're each doing your own thing. You have your own victory conditions and stuff. So it makes it a little more confusing. So this one's kind of an in-between intermediate and advanced because there's so many things going on at once.
Yeah, it was a little annoying to play at first because it took a little bit. There's a learning curve to it.
There is a learning curve to it, which is why I kind of put it in between because once you get the hang of it, it is more of an intermediate game, but it's kind of an advanced game in that it has that learning curve.
Yes.
So, and the next is Dice Forge, which is another one of my favorites. And that's mostly an intermediate game because like it is pretty simple, but because there's so much going on with changing out the die faces, because you actually change out the die faces, because there's so much going on with that, I put it as more of an intermediate game.
Yeah, this is also one that we've played with Megan, and she was able to catch on towards the end, but initially it is a little bit it's
a little difficult. And then Camel Cup, which is kind of an in-between starter and intermediate. There's a lot going on with this one. You have a lot of choices that you can do. You can choose to bet on an overall winner. You can choose to bet on who's going to win that leg of the race. You can choose to instead roll the die to move the camel. You can choose to do all these different things, and so it just, because of the amount of choices it makes it kind of more of an intermediate.
Yeah, it's overwhelming at first.
Yes, and then there's also can be a lot of strategy that goes on. At least when you're Anna, she actually strategizes with it and like makes good choices. The rest of us are just like, no, the green one's gonna lose. No, the green one's gonna lose.
There's a reason why I almost always win that one.
Because we're all concerned with, no, the green camel's just gonna lose.
And then what happened when the green camel won?
No, green camel always loses. That started the very first time that me and our friend Ron ever played this game with Brian and Billy, and I think there was somebody else there. And the green camel just got stuck at the very beginning of the race, just essentially going around in circles. It was hilarious. But yeah, that's kind of where that came from. And then Pandemic, which is a cooperative game about stopping a pandemic. There's like 4 different diseases going around, and you have to work together to stop each of those diseases. And because of the amount of stuff that goes on, and like it is actually complicated. And so it's more of an intermediate. It's not quite advanced because you can lean on other people to kind of help you through it. But it is a little confusing. There's a lot going on with that game. But it is a lot of fun too. Those of you who have an Xbox, you can actually get a digital version of this game on the Xbox. Yeah, I actually have it.
Lovely.
And then last but not least, we have Quarriors. Quarriors is a deck building game, but with dice. It's a dice building game. And actually, Anna loves this game. We both love this game. You're essentially collecting dice, and you roll those to try to get monsters to come up, and you try to have those monsters survive to the next turn so that they score.
Yes. I love it. I think it's great.
And so it's like, the basic idea is simple, but actually playing it is what makes it more of an intermediate.
Yeah, it's another game where the concept is simple, but there's so much strategy that you have to actually be kind of into it.
Yeah, you have to have an idea of like some experience with board games, with tabletop board games, in order to actually like make playing it a little easier.
I think we played Quarriors with Megan as well.
I think we might have. We played a bunch of games with Megan when she was there that couple of weekends.
Yeah. We played quite a few games because she was there with us for a week.
Oh yeah, we did have that one week where she had her for one weekend one time and then a week for another time. So yeah, we played a bunch of these with her. So like, you can't like this intermediate list for us. You can play with people who are more starters or who are younger.
Just know that you're going to have to help.
It's going to be, you're going to have to hold their hand through the whole thing, which if you don't mind doing that, which we didn't, then great. It's a good way to introduce them to more intermediate games, and then it makes the easier games like Santorini and stuff like that, it makes those even easier for them because they've already played Smash Up, Takenoko, and Quarriors, you know? So it makes it a lot easier for them to do the easier ones. So, that is our list of intermediate games. So our next board game video will be about our advanced games, which I only have about 5 games on that list, which we'll probably only actually sit down and explain one of them because they have a lot more going on with them.
Yes.
So, that is it for us for this week. So thank you all for joining us this week, and we hope that we will see you all again next week. But until then, don't forget to thank the Phoenicians.